Thanks for attending the Oracle Integration webinar. Thanks for joining our quarterly webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress, part of the Oracle Product Management team. In case you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available at VideoHub, including presentation for download. For details, please see our monthly community newsletter. In today's presentation, Niall Commiskey will update us on the latest Oracle integration features, and Amit Singh from Accenture will share best practices to upgrade from Oracle Integration 2 to Oracle Integration 3. Good afternoon, Niall.
Good afternoon, Jürgen. Hope all is well with you.
Yep, in beautiful Germany, and the weather is nice, and we started our European soccer tournament.
Yes, and Scotland nearly won a game yesterday. Even better. Hey.
So you will talk about the new features. What's the
I,
most exciting one which is available
I
now?
suppose the most exciting one is the dependency analyzer that we have now in OIC projects. So looking forward to showing that, and of course discussing the other features that we have as well.
Will you include a demo like you usually
Yes, we'll be
do?
shown. We'll be showing demos, yeah, or I'll be showing demos.
Cool. And with us is Amit Singh. Amit Singh is the technology leader from Accenture for the United States. Amit, welcome to the call.
Hello, Jürgen. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And I hear that you guys are having great weather. Well, US is not far behind. We are hosting the Cricket World Cup in US this year. So,
Oh,
and US is
exciting.
doing great. Yep.
You have tons of experience in Oracle integration technology and middleware. What was the first version of middleware you started your career?
Oh, you are judging my age, Jürgen, if you ask those questions. Well, we started with OC4J, right? That was the first SOA middleware that Oracle had before they acquired WebLogic. So, yep, uh, 15, 20 years of middleware work there.
I remember I was part of the Oracle team when BA was acquired, so my hair gets gray. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for sharing the experience to upgrade to the latest version of Oracle integration. That's super valuable. So Oracle Integration 3 connects SaaS services like Oracle HCM, CX, and ERP with adapters or custom-built applications via SOAP or REST. In the latest iPaaS Gartner Magic Quadrant, Oracle is ranked as a leader. Objective of today's call is to provide you all the information to adapt the latest version and introduce new features. Let's get started. Quick housekeeping. Today's session is live and this presentation is being recorded. Please feel free to post your questions via the conference Q&A tool in the Zoom console. At the end of the webcast, we will answer them. Slides and an on-demand webcast will be posted at Oracle Video Hub. We will post announcements and links in the conference chat, and please use the Q&A tool to post your questions. Please complete the online survey at the end of the webinar. Please pay attention to the safe harbor statement. For today's agenda, Niall will start with the latest release and the new features, and also provide an outlook for the upcoming version in August. Like always, we include live demos, and we will give Amit the pleasure to describe how to upgrade from Oracle Integration 2 to Oracle Integration 3 and the best practice lessons learned from the upgrade. We conclude the webcast with the questions and answers. Quick update from my side. We would like to invite you to our next customer success webcast. Business Reply in Italy will present a use case where they implemented ERP Cloud and shifting workload from eBusiness Suite to ERP Cloud, which results in a 40% time reduction. Please join us on July 10th. The last Success webcast with Flex Deploy and HNI is available on demand. You can find the webcast on our resource page. If you are in production and you would like to share your success story, please mark that in the survey at the end of the webcast, or feel free to reach out to me anytime. We would like to invite you to attend Oracle Cloud World in September in Las Vegas. And we will host our annual customer advisory report at the conference. So please feel free to register for the summit. It will take place September 9th, which is the day before the conference. All information is published in our quarterly customer newsletter. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And please also share any content that you would like to contribute. To try Oracle integration, we offer a free trial of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And as part of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, you can activate Oracle integration. The trial is available for 30 days, so it's suitable to build any kind of demos and proof concepts. While you do that, please use the Live Lab material to build a demo or proof concept with the hands-on material to get started. If you want to start a project, please look out for certified implementation experts and certified partners like Accenture. You can go to partnerfinder.oracle.com and search for a local certified integration expert. At Cloud Marketplace, you can search for additional adapters and third-party features. You have questions, you want to collaborate, please visit Oracle Cloud Customer Connect. There you can start a conversation, you can submit an innovation, and you can earn badges. Today's webcast is recorded and will be published at Oracle Video Hub. Please subscribe to receive our latest updates. With that introduction, I would like to hand over to Niall.
Thank you, Jürgen. I'll start sharing my screen then. Okay, welcome everybody. Our last call was in March, and that was just before the 2404 release. And now this one here is in June. And of course, that times very nicely with the 2406 release. So I'll be discussing a couple of features from 2404 as well, just for those folks maybe who aren't too aware of what came in 2404. Now, before we actually start, I've been asked to give you an update on SOA CS. That SOA CS is being retired on the 31st of May 2025. For those folks who do have SOA CS running, they should have received emails about this. There is an My Oracle support note about it. And there is a migration tool from SOA CS to SOA and OCI or SOA Marketplace. And there's the docs link for that as well. So just for those folks on SOA CS, please be aware that this is being retired May 31st, 2025. But you have plenty of time. You have plenty of documentation there to tell you how to move this to SOA Marketplace. Thank you. Now, okay, let's look at the new features. Now, before we do, again, just showing you, we have here the power of many. OIC, connect and synchronize apps. Of course, this is our application integration component. Engaging trading partners. This could be using B2B for EDIFACT document exchange. Could also be healthcare, the OIC for healthcare, where we're dealing with HL7 specific documents over MLLP. Engaging workers are bringing the human interaction in. That's with OPA, with process automation. Extending experiences, whether that be custom apps or extending SaaS apps. You can do that with Visual Builder. And of course, with OIC, you've got a plethora of tools in respect of management and monitoring. And of course, as you can see here, we're looking at simple experience, simple design time, fast outcomes because of the simple design time, and clear insights through the monitoring and management features that we do have. So, without further ado, the highlight of the previous releases. Now, I'm not going to go into all of these bullet points and details. I'll just highlight some of these things. Now, you will be getting access to these slides, so you can read them, read through them yourselves as well. Very, very important in 2402 was the stage file performance improvements, because some customers moved from OIC Gen 2 to OIC 3. They were using stage file heavily, and they found that the performance was not to what they had expected. That issue has been resolved totally in the 2402 release. We also see that in 2402, we have the ability to test an integration from the canvas. Now, this is within the context of a project. So if you have an integration and you want to test it, instead of having to save it, to activate it, and then run it, most of those steps happening outside of the canvas itself, you can now do all of that within the canvas with one button, click, test, and the deployment is done under the hood, and you get your tester available for you to enter your payload and test your integration. We also introduced in 2404 the ability to connect or to share connections between projects. Now, projects are a huge value add in OIC3. Not only do they give me a convenient way of organizing my integration artifacts, like you can create a project based on a functional area, or you could create a project, for example, based on types of integrations or whatever. It's up to yourself on how you want to actually define what a project is for you. But we now have the ability within projects to share integrations between projects and also to share connections between projects. Projects also are also RBAC enabled. So that means you can decide whether the integration artifacts in your projects can be seen by other folks, can be edited by other folks, or whether it's private to you. So with this RBAC feature, we can have different groups working within the same OIC instance on their own projects without seeing the contents of each other's projects. Now, it might be very interesting for, say, a HCM integration team working on the same OIC development instance as an ERP integration team. Other things to note here is with 2404, customer managed disaster recovery is now supported with OIC3. Oracle managed disaster recovery is something we're looking at later in this calendar year, maybe October, November timeframe. And this is something that I wanted to highlight, is the file server native action within the integration canvas. Now, previously, you had to, if you wanted to use the file server that's shipped with OIC, you had to create an FTP connection specifically for that. Now you don't need to do that anymore. Within the design time or the canvas itself, you can drag and drop a file server action. And this will allow you to list files in your file server directories or folders, to read those files, move those files, delete those files, etc., etc. There has been many improvements as well within the B2B space. And you will see down there the ability to, the final bullet point in the automation platform, the ability to migrate SOA B2B artifacts to OIC. Now, this is also very important because we have many customers still on SOA Suite. They're looking at OIC and saying, how can I actually get there? Now, for SOA B2B customers, we've made that quite easy, giving you the ability now to migrate your SOA B2B artifacts to OIC. Other interesting things in respect of observability, which is my particular area of interest, is supporting for min-max duration stats for integration execution. Now, we are putting more and more salient data into the observability in OIC3. And the whole goal here is to make it easier for you to identify, say, potential bottlenecks, to, if issues do occur, to find out quickly where those issues have occurred, and hopefully then you can take the corrective action. Highlights in respect of Gen 2 to OIC3 upgrade, and I'm sure many of you customers, if you've not already considered this is something you will have to start looking at. We now have it so that most OIC Gen 2 instances are now eligible for OIC3 upgrades. Now, one thing to note for you folks on OIC Gen 2 is when you log into your OIC homepage, you should see a banner message relation to upgrades. You also have under the settings menu, a new menu option called upgrade. And within there, you will see you can do your check for upgrades, check your eligibility vis-a-vis upgrades, etc. If you have any questions on this, please contact me. And Amit, I'm sure, will be discussing this in depth in his section. Now, connectivity pre-builds. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these either, but just to let you know that every release of OIC, and we do have bi-monthly releases now, includes new adapters and enhancements to existing adapters. Now, one of the things you will see here was 2404, the AWS, the S3 and the SQS adapters that we've added. So now we have added multi-cloud adapters, so to speak, because we see that many of our customers do have a multi-cloud strategy, and we are working within that as well. You will see here new adapters for Coupa. Salesforce REST adapter has been introduced as well, Primavera data service. You can see that for many existing adapters, we've provided enhancements. Like very interesting is support for Avro schema in the Google Cloud pub sub adapter and for the Azure event grid. You will also see that in 2402 and 2404 and also in 2406, there have been enhancements to the RAB. This is the Rapid Adapter Builder infrastructure that we've delivered. So now with this Rapid Adapter Builder, you can create your own adapters for OIC. Now, these adapters can be based on like the raw material for such may be a Postman collection or an open API spec. But this is a very, very rapid way of declaratively building your own OIC adapters. So if you have a target application with which you have to integrate with, and Oracle doesn't have an adapter for such, and if this target app has REST APIs, then you can very, very easily build your own custom adapter for this app, and it'll appear in the adapter palette, and you can use it just as you would any of our other adapters. So we've also delivered quite a lot of pre-built solutions. Now, I suppose the pre-built solutions, they are, of course, it's great if you can say we've got the likes of recipes and accelerators. A recipe is like a best practice implementation of a common business use case or integration use case between specific apps. For example, synchronizing my inventory between my web front-end shop on Shopify and my inventory in NetSuite, for example. Accelerators are a bit more black box. Like it's a kind of, buy and run sort of concept here. However, you can, of course, configure these accelerators in certain spaces. For example, the mapper can be changed, etc., etc. You can add new actions and so on. So there are loads of pre-built solutions out there. So it is a good idea when you have a new integration task, before you actually start developing yourself, just check maybe there is already an accelerator or a recipe that covers your business requirement, or maybe some of your business requirement. Okay, so let's look at the integration plan of record. In other words, what are we delivering, or what have we delivered in 2406, and what are we looking at delivering maybe in 2408 and a couple of releases after that? Well, from an upgrade perspective, we're getting more and more of those Gen 2 environments eligible for upgrade. So again, please check on that as an OIC Gen 2 customer. Remember, upgrade is something very, very positive. You're being brought to OIC 3, which is a plethora of new features for you. So it's something really to look forward to. Within observability, we have an enhancement to the activity stream to allow it to be sorted by activity duration. Now, this is very, very useful for isolating bottlenecks. You could well imagine you may have an integration with 100 actions within it. And that's typical for many of our customers. Now, one of these integration flows may be running slowly. So isn't it great that within OIC observability, you can now filter that activity stream on the duration? In other words, it'll show you the actions that are taking the most time to complete within that particular instance flow. So this is very, very useful again for isolating bottlenecks. Another excellent new feature is the project dependency view, which I will be demoing to you later. Net, it's allowing you to see, okay, I have a load of integration artifacts in my project, but how do they relate to each other? For example, which connections are being used by which integrations? That lookup that I created for country codes, where is that being used? So we'll have a look at that later. Now we see active integration count by project. That's another view that we're giving you within the observability. Another point to note is, and we'll see it's over here in the automation platform, the service limit for activated integrations has been increased from 700 to 800 with the July release as well. We also see in observability again, new activity stream fields. Now, many people are saying, okay, what's great about that? Well, just look at it this way. OIC activity stream data can be enabled to be sent to OCI logging very easily. You just enable logging in the OCI page of your integration instance. Once it's in OCI logging, it can be passed on to logging analytics. And within logging analytics, we can create very compelling dashboards for managing and monitoring, administering this OIC environment or fleet of OIC instances. What's very, very interesting as well, and I'll show you this later, is the fact that we're looking at business insights dashboards as well here. So it's not just saying, how many integrations have ran the last hour, how many were errored, what type of errors, et cetera, the typical sysadmin style queries. We're also looking here at supporting business owner style queries, such as, where is order number 5? What's the top product being ordered in the last couple of hours or whatever. This information is based on the tracking fields that you define in your integrations. And these tracking field values are pushed also now to OCI logging and logging analytics. And these are the raw material for such dashboards. Now, other things that we're looking at here within observability is display the end-to-end flow of integration instances. So if you think of the project dependency view, which I will be showing you later, this gives you the design time view. I have designed my integration so that this connection here to ERP is being used by the following integrations. But what about the runtime view? Now, the runtime view could be subtly different. I could have switch actions within those integrations that say, if it's an order of this type, put it to Fusion ERP. If it's an order of that type, push it to NetSuite. So the idea is to give the runtime view as well, and that's something that's work in progress that we're expecting 2408, 2410 timeframe. We're also looking at extending the data retention within OIC for customer instances. Now, this is something that may be interesting for some folks, but with OCI logging analytics, if we push the data there from OIC, you can keep that data there as long as you want. Within OCI logging analytics, you can set up your own purging rules for when you want that data deleted. But if you don't purge, it stays there. So within automation platform, we see that the custom endpoints and enhancements for load balancer and WAF. So this is allowing you, to create your custom endpoint and to have the OCI load balancer and WAF support for that as well. So this is very interesting for folks in Gen 2 who have used custom endpoints and maybe seeing when they do the eligibility check to upgrade to OIC 3 that because of this custom endpoints, they're not eligible. Sorry. So this is something that has been addressed here as well. We also see in 2406, you can now create OIC events within projects. Like going forward, of course, as you can see down below, we want to project enable B2B, healthcare, and also decisions. Now, decisions are the rules, it's the rules engine from OPA for process automation. We are going to surface that, or we plan to surface that in OIC projects. So your project could contain these sort of business rules as well, and they can be invoked very easily from your integrations via native action. We also see here the ability to, RPA is a new component. So this is something for 2408, we hope. Having RPA, your software robots there, doing the work that you cannot do easily by calling an API, and being able to invoke those software robots very, very easily. It's just another action in your integrations. So that's something really to look forward to, the RPA support. Also mentioned there is Oracle Managed Disaster Recovery. And you can see as well here, the third bullet point from the end, extend the number of tracking variables. Now, again, as I was mentioning to you, for these business insights dashboards in OCI Logging Analytics, we currently have 3 tracking fields that we can send there. So 3 values, for example, order number, customer, product, or something like that. But we're planning to extend the number of tracking variables that you can define within an OIC integration. And through that, you'll be able to send more business relevant data to OCI Logging Analytics. We also look here at the ability to filter events. Now, filtering events is very useful. Like you can have an OIC event that you defined, a new order created. Now, it would be nice to be able to subscribe to that event, but also to apply a filter to that subscription. For example, I'm only interested in orders over a certain value. And you also see here the idea with system events. Here we're looking at implementing systems events such as new file arrived in a particular file server directory, maybe using the same OIC event infrastructure. So this would allow us to have integrations triggered on the arrival of a file in a file server directory. The final bullet point there, scaling concurrency limit with message packs. Now, we have quite a few customers who have high concurrency requirements. For example, they may have, maybe they need support for hundreds of concurrent synchronous requests. Think maybe of a large customer with a customer-facing portal. And within this customer-facing portal, customers may be placing orders or they may be changing their profile data or whatever. So these are going to be synchronous requests to OIC, or they could be implemented as synchronous or integrations in OIC. So we could have concurrency requirements here that go above and beyond the published service limits for OIC3. So we will be scaling those depending on the number of message packs that the customer subscribes to. So if you want more concurrency, apply more message packs and you get it immediately. Within healthcare, healthcare is very, very strategic to us. And within healthcare, we're looking at first in, first out delivery mechanism, which is something that's required for many use cases when processing HL7 or clinical documents. We're also looking at doing this in such a way that this strictly ordered processing can be applied to, can be used by any other OIC customer. So that's a nice value add of this for healthcare. You will see high availability support for the MLP adapter and private endpoint support for healthcare adapters as well. Now, the connectivity plan of record, we can see here again, loads of new adapters. I'm not going to go through them all. The main thing I just want you to see is, hey, this is strategic to us. Connectivity is everything to us. New adapters coming, and we can see here Azure Event Hub adapter, AWS SNS adapter coming as well. Many connectivity enhancements. And many of these, or I say most of these enhancements are driven by customers. So if you're using any of our adapters and it's not providing the support that you expect, please let us know what's missing. And that's how we get the raw material for our adapters team there. You can see here as well with the RAB infrastructure, the support for open API specs. And you will see here, okay, support for identity propagation from source to target applications. Now, this is very, very interesting as well. Instead of going through with a generic user, we're going through with the user from the source SaaS app to the target SaaS app. We'll also see here more pre-built solutions. You see the pre-built solutions here, many of them in the healthcare space. We've going to deliver 30 pre-built solutions. And you can see some of these things here like maintenance and HCM accelerator. So again, if you are beginning a new project, new integration project, do look and see what we have in respect of recipes and accelerators. They may actually target exactly what you want to do. So new features deep dive. So I'm going to go in here now to my OIC instance. So I'm just clicking on that, my screen now. I just want to show you here. Let's go into this guy. Let's go in. Here we go to, here I am in a project. So in my little project here, I have loads of integrations, not too many, a couple of integrations. I've got a couple of lookups and things like that as well. Yeah. So I might have another project here with more stuff in there. Let's go into this guy. So I think this guy has, yeah, a couple of more adapters, and we can see about this there. And when I click on this guy here, I can see here, okay, this is the default view. So I can see, okay, this guy is calling this guy. These two guys are using the same REST trigger and so on. And we can say here, they are also using connections from another project. I mentioned the project sharing. So this is the dependency diagram here. So I can see, okay, well, these connection here, this ERP connection is based on a common connection in another project. The other Fusion connection as well is based on a common connection. So if we look at this one here, we can focus just on integrations. Now I could focus on a specific integration if I wanted to as well. You can say, okay, what does this guy do? Okay, and these guys both are using the REST trigger, for example. I can go down and I can say, look at connections. And I see all of my connections there. And I say, I'm only interested in who is using the REST trigger. And we see those two guys are using the REST trigger. So you get the idea here, I hope. Now, this is extremely useful. Now, the idea with the update data here is, like, I'll just show you why we would use that. So I'll just close this for a sec. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to create another connection here. And let's do here REST. And let's call this maybe. So I'm just calling this REST trigger here. So I'm just going to create that guy. I'll just save this, test and save. Now let's go back in here. Let's go into the view here. And as you can see, let's go in here and let's look for connections. You can see that connection is not yet there. Let's do update data. And then the connection is there. So just that you see, if you have your diagram open and then you go in and create stuff, if you don't see it immediately, hey, just press update data and you get that there as well. And as you can see here, okay, it's a different rendering, whatever you want here as well. Now, I think this is a huge, huge value add for our customers, especially when I'm seeing new customers who are adopting projects, and we do have many of them who are going for projects, and they say, okay, yeah, I could have up to 60, 70 integrations in this project, maybe 10 connections or whatever, multiple lookups and so on. And the ability to be able to see, who is using what, so to speak, is very, very useful, especially in respect of, what are the implications, the dependency analysis for, if I change anything, I want to see exactly what will be affected or which components will be affected by that. Okay. So next thing I just wanted to demo here on this, just going back in here. Design time dependency. Oh yeah, the activity stream by duration. Now the activity stream by duration, I'll just go in, we'll have a quick look and we'll just check on this here. So I'm just going into this insight demo here. So I have a simple process order here and I go in, I do run. And I have a thing, I do 27. Okay, run. And as you can see here, I can click within this guy, I can go to observe and I can see here within instances. Here I'm seeing, of course, just what's executing within this project, which is very, very useful again for folks. I click on this guy here. And of course, I will see the runtime or the design time at runtime representation. And I see over here the activity stream. And I see this new icon here to view the slowest activity. So I just click on that guy and I can see the slowest activity. Where is most of the time being spent on this thing here? Now, this is exceedingly useful. Maybe not so in such a small integration, but in larger integrations with up to 100 plus artifacts or actions or whatever, and trying to isolate where is that bottleneck. This is very, very useful for what we actually have here. Okay. Now the project support for events. Now, okay, what can I say here? I can just show it to you. Like we do have it here within our project here. We go back into the design and you will see here, I can add events here. So again, these OIC events are, we say here, call this new order event. These are very, very useful because of the fact I can easily publish an event in an integration, and I can have a different integration, which is of type subscriber, which subscribes to that actual event. So you can see here, I could upload a JSON sample of this, or else I can just put in here my order number and say order number 123, or 124, and I can leave the other guys there and I just create that guy. And then if you look at this one here, again, let's go into one of these integrations here. Let's just deactivate this for a sec. The activation is done there. You will see here, says he, there we go. Let's go in and edit this guy here. First thing I just want to show you is the tester button. This is the button that you use for testing it. Okay. Now, your integration does have to be configured before you can test it. So if it's still in draft mode, this icon will be grayed out. If we look over here, you will see here, for example, there's the publish event. So I created that event. Now, if I drop this guy in here, for example, I do PUB, publish event, you will see there's my new order event that I could actually publish there. Okay. Or else I could define a new event if that wasn't the one I wanted. Okay. So it's that simple to actually leverage these events within the OIC project. Now, the next thing that I just wanted to show, let me just check on this here. Yeah, the active service, the file server native action. So the native action here is, I say, just make them much, much easier for you to interface with the file server that OIC ships with. Instead of having to create the FTP connection, like you just go over here, and then you have here your file server. So if you drag and drop that across, for example, you will see here there's two areas where you can actually work, or two resources that are available to you: the folder or directory structure and the files themselves. So at directory level, what can I do? I can list the directory. In other words, list the files within a particular directory. Now, of course, you can include, like if you see this here, you will see here list files recursively, so you can go down whatever level you want, and then you can say the maximum number of files, the minimum age, etc., etc. You can also do the file level stuff. So file would be, okay, get the file reference. Get the file reference is like reading the file. Now you could then, of course, do some file processing using the stage file action. And then at the end, you might say, want to write that file to another directory, or you might want to move that file from one directory to another, or you might want to delete that file. So all you need to manipulate your files within your file server are available for you there. So this is, again, great value add that we have there. And I just discard that guy. And I'll just delete that guy there. And I delete that guy. So we have those guys there. Next thing I just wanted to talk about. Yeah, the slides show you an example of this. Also, what I wanted to mention to you was that here, let me just save this integration here. This integration I'm going to use as the basis for the observability section that's coming next. So I just need to activate this integration here. Another thing to note is when you're activating the integrations, this is something that has changed as well in OIC 3. If you click debug, now debug is great for doing those tests, your first tests or whatever, and seeing what's going on or what's going wrong. But it is very heavy from a logging perspective. So it's denigrating performance, of course. With 2406, if you set something to debug, we will reset it after 24 hours because we found that many customers forgot about this and it was causing unnecessary overhead. So debug will be reset to production after 24 hours. So just that you have that in the back of your mind, because not thinking, oh, I set this to debug, how come it's changed? Just to let you know that. So we have this, I'm going to set this guy to production. And once this guy is done, we're just going to create a simple order that you can see how this thing is working here for us now. So I'm processing an order. The process order is going to call approve order. If it's approved, it's going to ship the order. So now we can see here, let's go in, we can say it's 25, 28, and we call it a nice sky line, whatever product that is, and we just run that. You will see here that this thing runs through successfully and the thing has been shipped. Now, just consider that that information has been passed on to a dashboard in Oracle Logging Analytics. And, kudos to my colleague, Sandhya, for the great work that she has done in this respect here. Net is for those folks who want more business style intelligence from the OIC data, this is maybe a good starting point. If we look up here, for example, you can see here, we can filter on a specific service instance. So you could have multiple OIC instances pushing data into this dashboard, and you could drill down on a particular OIC instance. You could also drill down on a particular integration. Now, this AA process order is this guy up here, of course. And you can actually select specific milestones if you wanted on this though. But what's very, very nice about this here is I can actually filter on the tracking fields. Now, do you remember I said the three tracking fields and their values are being pushed to logging analytics? My tracking fields are order number, customer, and product. Now, if I click order number, and if I click in this field here, I see a list of order numbers that have been entered in the last while. Now, you can see here, we said order number 2528, and 2528 hasn't arrived just yet. Let's click on this thing here, the last 60 minutes. And we should see this guy coming in here. But it does give me the opportunity to actually drill down on these folks. And there's 2528. Okay, click on that guy there. And as you can see down here, there's some high level data. And then we see the milestones. Now, the milestones are actually a subset of the actions within your OIC integrations are highlighted as milestones here. For example, process order service, that's the start. And we see that the order status has been approved. So that means once it's been approved, we can ship it. So you can see I've logged approved order, I've logged shipped order. In other words, everything was hunky-dory here with this particular milestone. Now, what you also see down here is, okay, this particular transaction ID. Now, this is something going a bit down into the depths, but there's an OPC request ID that is generated by the top level integration. So in this case here, when this guy starts running, he gets an OPC request ID assigned. If this guy invokes another integration such as ship order or approve order, that OPC request ID is passed on to them. So some folks might think back to the SOA Suite days where we had a GUID that passed between, service bus, BIPL, different integrations and so on. So we could have this trace. The exact same concept is what we have here with this. So you can see this transaction ID had three integrations: approve order, process order, approve order, and ship order. And if I click on these milestones, I see a timeline thing. Okay, receiving the process order, then we're going to invoke approve order. We get the response back, it's approved. Then we go down here, we're going to invoke ship order and so on. And then, of course, at the very end, we just kind of respond here. Now, this is still work in progress, but I just wanted to show it to you folks to see what we're doing in respect of kind of business insights. Seeing as the Insight product, which was a popular enough component in OIC Gen 2, is not part of the OIC 3 toolkit. But as I say, we're doing an awful lot of work here in this respect. So with that, I'm just going to go back to the slides, and that's just showing you as well. Some of the other features is we're sending new fields from OIC activity stream to logging analytics. For example, the instance completion state. So it could be process completed, i.e. successful, or process completed with false. And these two can be used to create compelling dashboards and logging analytics. And there's just a couple of other fields that we're doing, and these are the business insights that I just showed you there as well. So I think all in all, we have great work that we're doing in this respect here, telling us, giving us business insights. What happened to my order and when did it happen? Answering those questions here. Now, the big value add of this, of course, is it's the business user data-driven dashboards. They're non-intrusive. So you don't have to do anything in OIC. You just have to enable the logs to be sent to OCI logging and from there to logging analytics. It's not like Insight and Gen 2 where you did have to create milestones and an awful lot of other stuff there as well. So it is a very compelling alternative for OIC Gen 2 Insight customers. And there's no data retention limits, because that's something you specify within logging analytics itself. So I say thank you very much. Looking forward to our session in September. And Amit, I apologize if I took a little bit too much time, but as Jürgen says, we do have some flexibility here. Thank you, Jürgen.
Oh, thank you, Niall. I know it was an exciting session and a lot of demos. It's a tall order to match up to that demo, Neil, but I'll try from my experience. So thank you. I hope you guys are enjoying the session, and certainly, right, as Jürgen asked the question that when did you start the middleware, right, with OC4J? And I have seen this, so a 10G, 11G, 12C, and OIC, AIC, ICS journey. And believe it or not, right, this is going into the Oracle is always surprising us with the new features and everything that are coming up. And with Gen 3 is setting up this product totally apart from the marketplace. And it will, as you all know, that this is on the top right quadrant of Magic Quadrant of Gartner and Forrester. So I'm here to share some of the learnings that we got from OIC Gen 3, right? And Oracle has detailed documentation that what you should do, what you should prepare for. And I was watching some of the questions that people are asking. Is there any firm date when we should be moving to Gen 3? Yes, so there are notifications that are being sent out by Oracle, and we wanted to implement at our clients. As Accenture, we are doing a lot of implementations, and we have so many customers which are sitting on Gen 2, and many of them are in the process of Gen 3. One thing that we planned for each and every customer is, as you know, that OIC is being used for Oracle SaaS implementations most of the places, not necessarily that's the only use case, but wherever you have Oracle SaaS implementation, I would advise that we should bundle it with your quarterly updates. Now that will save your testing lines, that will save your regression time, effort, and make it more nimble and more smoother go live for these upgrades. Some of these learnings that we had found from some of the implementation, one of the biggest is that the instance ID changed from numeric to alphanumeric, right? If you have had any numbers that are the instance ID is defined as a number in your schema, make sure that you change that beforehand. It is not necessary that you have to do it at the time of upgrade. This is something that you can do beforehand, right? So if you guys are planning Gen 3 upgrade in next 6 months, you can use these learnings and start implementing those small changes into your projects. It will become forward compatible. OIC system APIs needs OAuth security, and if called from OIC integration, then the design URL has to change, right? So the way you can mitigate it, you configure the OIC URL, right, and make sure that it is maintained as a lookup in your OIC lookup table. Local integrations cannot be used to send attachments, right? So that earlier it used to send attachments as local integration. Now the workaround be that you invoke them as an external web service. Integrations, any integrations that we have now, you have to have JSON input, right? So again, this is another thing that you can plan ahead and implement it in Gen 2 so that you are prepared for your Gen 3 upgrade. Stage read in segments not working for complex XML type, right? This is another thing that we uncovered, right? When you have complex schema, you define it at once and you refer it in your complex schema. So the way you do it is that now you have to define the complex schema. Uh, just for example, right, address schema is there and you have to define it, the whole complex schema. Um, there is another issue that we uncovered, that stage read, right? If you are trying to determine the size of the file, uh, that one is not working. The workaround is that you can change the logic, not to look for the size, but look at the number of records. Stage read file, this was another emoji was present. This was the comment field. A user entered the emoji. Some of these things are you again we are uncovering with the implementation. So the advice is that use Sky coding. And the last but not the least, the pub/sub style integrations, right? Gen 2 does not invoke local calls, but Gen 3 does, which is a big addition. So this is something that you can do only after the Gen 3 upgrade, whereas other things that you can do beforehand. We so with that, there are other big improvement areas that are the improvements that Gen 3 is offering, right? Some of those features Niall has already talked about. I would suggest that you guys go through the documentation and work with Oracle SR process for the upgrade. That really helps and smoothes the process. With that, Jürgen, I will hand it over to you.
So if you work on an upgrade from integration 2 to integration 3, make sure you follow this advice, the lessons learned from Accenture. And if you're looking for some experts who can support you, feel free to reach out to Amit. To summarize today's webcast, all links and today's presentation are published already at the Oracle Video Hub. You will find the links at our resource page, bit.ly/links/OIC. Make sure you visit the Oracle integration page. There you can find all the product information. The documentation is really helpful. For example, you can find there a list of adapters. Make use of the free trial, which runs for 30 days, and you can use it to build any kind of demos and prototypes, and you are supported in your prototype with the Labs. Visit the Accenture Oracle page. There you can find more information about the integration services. And please subscribe to our blogs. There's a Oracle integration blog. Niall is writing a great blog with many examples. And I also publish a blog with. Please subscribe to the newsletter. The customer newsletter is distributed on a quarterly basis. With that, we come to the Q&A. So, Niall, first of all, there are a couple of questions regarding the upgrade. Is it mandatory, the upgrade, and is there a deadline?
Yeah, the upgrade is mandatory, but I think, folks, you will see OIC 3 offers an awful lot of compelling new features that we just don't have in OIC Gen 2. So it is mandatory, but it will be very, very useful for you. You will have much more functionality. Just think of the RPA that's going to be arriving in 2408. Just think of the other features that we've covered over the last couple of webcasts and so on. Regarding timelines, it's very, very important, folks, when you're regarding upgrades, look, please, in your settings menu in your OIC Gen 2 environment, click on the upgrade menu option, check out that page and see if you are eligible for upgrade. If you are eligible for upgrade, you will see that you have been assigned a slot or a wave. Now, the way we actually do this with upgrading is, say, the June has two waves, the month of June. The first wave, maybe the first week of June, would be for non-prod instances. The third week would be the second wave, and that would be for the prod instances. So in other words, you have 2 weeks to check in your dev environment, is everything okay? And then we will upgrade your prod, as I said, 2 weeks later. Again, you check which wave you've been assigned to, and you can change this. So in other words, if you say, well, this, the first wave in July doesn't suit me, you could postpone that to the first wave in August, for example. So we are flexible in that respect. We hope to have most customers, towards the end of this year running on OIC3. Next question, Jürgen.
Yeah, from Khalid, he would like to know how can we define milestones within an integration to be referenced later at logging analytics?
You don't have to. Like what we actually do is we do all of that for you. So in other words, certain actions will emerge as milestones automatically in logging analytics. So you don't even have to do that. Now, going forward, we will be able to filter on those milestones. In other words, you say, I'm not interested in some of these milestones that you have pushed. Don't show them to me on the diagram. So they're the sort of things that will be coming later. So the beauty of this is totally non-intrusive. Next question.
Priyanka would like to know where to find more information on SaaS identity propagation to OIC.
Well, that will be available once we release that feature. But essentially, you get the idea. If I'm in HCM and I'm doing something, or and I need to push an integration or say whatever to ERP. Maybe it's a request for a new laptop or requisition or whatever, but that the user context will be passed across and not just a generic user that we've defined in our ERP connection in OIC.
So thank you for presenting today, and thank you for your questions and attending the webcast. If you have further questions, you can reach out to Niall or Amit via LinkedIn and social media. You can also use the Partner Slack channel to post your questions if you are a member in the Oracle Partner Network, or you can use Cloud Customer Connect, where you can post your questions. You will find all those links at our integration resource page. Make use of those links, and you can also contact the team. Niall is running the product management responsibility here in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Paulo Mota in Latin America. Ravi Chaplani in North America. Ravi Pinto, he's also with us today in India. Steve Tyndall in Asia, and myself, I handle the partner support and custom events. We would like to say thank you for attending today's webcast. Once you leave, please complete the online survey, and we are looking forward to welcome you on September 19th for the next webcast. And of course, I hope to see you at Oracle Cloud World in Las Vegas.